Alright, David Harry here, and in this video I'm going to be doing a very specific resolution quality test running PUBG Mobile on the Samsung Galaxy S7 in DeX mode, and I will explain all about this as I go through on all the various settings and what exactly is it that I'm hoping to achieve with this particular video. Now straight up, this is going to be very wordy. There is no competitive gameplay whatsoever in this video. What this is me basically walking through one of the maps and just trying to show people exactly how good an output you can get using DeX mode on the S7. And I'm using PUBG because I can ramp up the settings on this as well using GFX tool. So basically, like I say, this is going to be a very wordy walkthrough, and it is probably for very nerdy people. So no gameplay, just a massive graphics test for those people who may be like me, who are just into nerdy stuff. Anyway, so to start off with, let's have a look at the resolution that I'm on Samsung DeX here. Oh, by the way, I'm likely to make mistakes as I go through this. I need to do this in a single take, so yes, I will fluff the odd thing. So on display settings here, what we've got is DeX in 3440 by 1440. So basically what I've got here is a 21.9 output coming out of DeX through HDMI going into my Elgato capture card, which is the 4K 60 Pro Mark II, although you could do this with the Mark I. And I'm using OBS to capture the data stream or the video stream and the audio as well. Okay, so that is the setup for the output resolution. Now what I'm going to be doing is using GFX tool, which we'll see here. Now I'm going to quickly run through this just so people can understand what this is for. So what happens with this particular app here, it basically overrides the settings within inside PUBG, so you can increase the resolution, frame rate, and all kinds of stuff to do with detail. I'm going to quickly go over some of the options here that I've got to hand, but first of all, let me just select here for global, and I'll get an advert. Let me just get past this advert, and then I will get back to the interface. To be honest, with GFX tool, it throws up 2 ads as you're using it usually. I don't mind it when it is a tool like this, which is mega useful. Anyway, so start off up here, resolution. Now I'm on 2560 by 1440. Now what that's going to be is the internal render engine settings for PUBG itself. So PUBG's own render settings this is affecting. Then obviously it comes out of the system at 3440 by 1440. So there's an upscale on top of the highest resolution going on here. Okay, also I am in HDR, which is the highest setting I can have here. There is an ultra setting, but that's only if I'm on the China or the beta servers, neither of which I can actually join. So HDR, which once again is higher than what you're going to get inside PUBG itself once you've added these other things to it. Then I'm on 60 frames per second. It could go higher, but that's only on a specific device, so 60 frames per second. And then the last setting that I'll go into any detail here is anti-aliasing. So that's on 4 times anti-aliasing. As we can see here, all of these other settings are set to their highest possible setting. And then when we get down to basically the API settings and GPU settings, it says Vulkan and the GPU optimization is enabled. But in practice, I've done every variation between these. So running either OpenGL and or Vulkan, and then having the let's see, the GPU optimization off or on. Doesn't matter, it just seems to work regardless, and doesn't matter what they're at. So they're only there because that's just where they were set from the previous time I'd launched. So what I'm going to do is accept that, get another advert, which once again I don't mind because this tool is well worth having with adverts on because it does a lot of useful stuff. So exit the advert now, run game. Now what I'm going to do here, usually I would maybe like skip past some of the like intros and the startups, but I won't do that here. I'm going to run through this like, you know, just in real time until I get into the game. I might start chopping and changing once I'm in the actual active game, but right now I'm doing this so you can see exactly what is going on and you can see the load up and everything else. Also, you may even notice immediately that some of the graphics here probably look decent as well. Now what I'm going to do here is just go into the game. I'm going to go probably into the Miramar map. Let me just make sure here. Let's see, yeah, so Miramar, there we go. And the reason for choosing Miramar is because it is a big map. Although the selected server may have high ping, blah blah. Well, I'm not worried about the ping here actually, because I'm only going to be doing a walkthrough, not on competitive. Yeah, so the reason for choosing Miramar here is because it is a massive map. There's a lot of stuff to see into the distance with. Let's see, there's a lot of potentially good things to look at for render quality, as in right now. Look at that now for the render quality. Okay, so like I say, I'll get into Miramar. Once I start getting into the airplane, I'll have a little look around up in the air. We'll have a little look at the views and stuff. I'll get on the ground, do a bit of walking, a little bit of sightseeing, and then let's see, I'll steal a car and then we'll go driving around, hopefully before I get killed, because like I say, not competitive. And also, I'm just going to be running around in my undies. Okay, so just a little look now at what we can see when we're in the aeroplane. And as far as I'm concerned, this looks absolutely fantastic. Just all that detail. And I know we're not close to the ground yet, where we would get more of the detail once all the textures start filling in better. But I've never seen anything look as good as this on like the mobile version of PUBG. It looks fantastic. And even if you have a little quick look at the aeroplane, I mean, look at all this lighting on the plane and everything. The modeling on the plane looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I'm not saying this is as good as, say, PC or something, but for a mobile device, I think that's just outrageous. Now, the other thing as well to note here is, for the best part, we are getting a solid 60 frames per second. So there doesn't look to be like too many issues right now with like frame rate. We will get it once we start kind of like getting onto the ground and there's a lot more movement and a lot more things to render. But for the best part right now, that doesn't seem to be an issue. So what I'm going to do is jump out the plane. And again, let's just have a look at some of the detail and whatnot as I'm coming down here. In fact, what I'll do, I'll try and find a vehicle soon and start getting around in a vehicle and stuff, because I think running around with just my underpants on, I'm probably going to be like, you know, getting killed really quickly with no like armor or anything on here. So let me just get a vehicle somewhere in exchange for my undies. Right. But as you can see here, again, for the best part, this is a solid 60 frames per second. Now I'll let them come down gently here just to show something happening. Now, although we can see a lot going on, we'll start seeing the map start filling in and all this loadout stuff coming into view and things like that. And then also as we get closer to other objects, we'll start seeing resolution increasing, just as the textures start getting better for like closer distance and whatnot. So let me just have a little turn around here. What it is, I need to try and spot a vehicle quickly. Again, just so I don't get killed too quick. Oh, there's a van there. I'll go and grab that van. Okay, so all the way down there in with the parachute, that was relatively like, you know, a solid 60 for, you know, for the best part and whatnot. Now the other thing here also is, because I'm in Dex mode, I can't use any controllers. So this is one of the reasons again why this is more of a walkthrough as opposed to gameplay, because I can't actually interact on any kind of combative level here, because I can't use like, you know, let's say I can't use like my PS4 controller as I normally would. Hold on, wait, let's get into this van. Can't use a PS4 controller as I normally would. And also, for the best part, you can't really use keyboard and mouse here. And that doesn't matter how you may normally do these things, you just can't use them in Dex mode, because Dex actually takes over the UI and stuff with the game, and also everything else to do with Android once Dex is running. But like I say, in Dex mode, we actually just get a much different experience as far as the rendering and resolution is concerned, which we can obviously see here. Now, interestingly also about this whole thing to do with Dex, when you're in Dex mode with a number of games, what I've found is that Dex and like, well, basically Samsung have managed to get Dex to render and go to higher resolutions and basically in general have better graphics than when in straight Android mode as well. So this is like another thing which is really super cool about Dex. It's just that its ability to utilize the hardware is a lot better, or it would appear to be a lot better than what straight Android is. So obviously I think what are we running on here? It's let's see, Snapdragon 865 Plus is it? And I believe it's the 850 of Adreno. So Dex does appear to be using the hardware more efficiently or better than what Android seems to use it, and I think this is very apparent right now as we're going round. So all this detail that we're seeing here, and not to mention the actual resolution also, and also this field of view. Well, actually the field of view is something that I'll get to shortly, but definitely the aspect ratio. This is all stuff that you can only do because of Dex. And what I was saying there about field of view, weirdly you may think that this looks a lot wider and stuff. It actually isn't. It's basically width-wise is thereabouts the same field of view as you normally would have on any device running PUBG. So we don't actually gain really anything as far as field of view is concerned. But what we do seem to get is more of a focus of the game, because we are concentrating more on the width as opposed to the height as far as field of view is concerned. Okay, now I'll let the car or the van slow down. Actually, wait there, let me get somewhere in the zone. Then I'll get out and do a little bit more stuff. Now, like I said from the outset, you know, this really is just a nerdy exercise and what have you. And I appreciate this isn't for a lot of people, because a lot of people just want to see gameplay and people like blowing things up or shooting things and whatnot. But I'm fairly sure that for some people out there who are really into this kind of nerdy thing, this will give them a really good idea as to just how good PUBG Mobile can look, you know, matched up with the right hardware and obviously software in this instance because of Dex. Also, here's a good test here. If you look at all these telegraph poles to the right, now usually you would see them skipping a lot, and that's because usually you won't be able to maintain 60 frames per second with so much detail going on, and with the CPU and GPU having to work really hard to draw everything in the distances and like fill in all the details and what have you. But for the best part here, that's all very solid, and that's a very solid 60. So yeah, that's always a good thing for testing as to whether or not you've got frame rate issues, is when you've got a lot of vertical stuff like these telegraph poles and what have you here. That's normally a good indicator as to how well you're maintaining your frame rate, because you will just see those kind of skipping and stuff and all the rest of it. Okay, and once again I have to be careful here not to go near the people. So let me see if I can just get out of the car here. Oh no, oh that's okay, that's a team player. Unfortunately I can't go joining in with them because I'm testing stuff. So let's have a little look inside here. So I'm just gonna have a little mooch in here. Let's have a look at what it looks like with all light and all that kind of thing. Just some of the extra detail that we should be seeing here, you know, compared to just the regular ways that we would play this game usually. Let's get out here. Again, have a little mooch around. The only thing is I can't interact too much with the buildings, only because I'd have to get into them and I can't really control my movements that well. Right, I don't know, is that a bike right down there, motorbike? Let me have a run down here and have a look. So once again, as I'm running here, just look at the actual movement in the frame of everything, and that'll give us a really good idea as to the like consistency within the frame rate, and also the way that we're rendering and like we're seeing detail. Only thing is here, these guys obviously want me to join in with them, and I'm really sorry about that, but I'm kind of on my own little vibe here doing stuff, unfortunately. Sorry buddy. Oh, don't wreck me bike. Oh, leave me bike alone. Okay. Oh, that's good, he's not wrecked me bike. That's cool. Right, now unfortunately there's no way of telling this guy that I'm not playing the game. Sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just do a bit more weird fast stuff on the bike, and then that'll give us an idea once again as to how well the S7 and its hardware and what have you is handling all of, well, basically all this tons of extra rendering that it's got to do in such a high resolution, and especially because we've now pushed it to the max as far as the graphics are concerned. Okay, and again, for the best part here, this definitely seems to be handling it really well as far as 60 frames per second is concerned. Oh, he's come off. Right, let me get back on my bike again. Where is it? There we go. Actually, I'll just pause here, have a little look around. Let's see, I'll move here with the side keys and stuff, just because we definitely won't be seeing the jittering associated with the mouse when I do these horizontal movements. And again, for the best part, that looks pretty solid to me. Now the only thing is here, depending upon where we are, we're going to be in shadow and stuff. So there's the sun behind me. Do a little bit of movement around here like that, just so we've got better illumination on me and we can compare me to the foreground and stuff. Let's just get up to this tree here, and then I'll move around and go back to the bike and jump on the bike. Okay, so all that looks pretty neat. In fact, just looking out over there, I mean, that building here seems to be rendered really well, and that is, like, you know, it's a fair distance away, so the S7 and its hardware is doing a really good job here trying to render as much within the field of view that we've got in order to kind of, like, you know, get everything nice and sharp and crispy and all that. And again, this little hill here, it's got a ton of detail in it, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff around here that we can see or gauge the actual resolution and whatnot and all the detail and quality by. So let me just get by this bike here. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just kind of round this up, I think, just go somewhere and then have a little look at something else. Like I say, this video is very weirdy, it's all kinds of nonsense, and it literally is just for the nerdy types who are into such things. And hopefully, you know, if people haven't really looked at PUBG in such a way before, as far as ultimate resolution and like graphical quality and all that stuff is concerned, hopefully there's been something in here that's been a little bit insightful for people. Obviously not my driving, so where am I? I need to turn around and get into the zone right there. Then we get back around here. Okay, so I'm going to try not to crash and try and get a little bit more of a feel as to how well, oops, I say that and crash immediately. Yeah, I just want to get more of a feel here as for how well the S7 is handling all of this detail and giving us what, well, given what I think. Oh no, he's going to do it again. Nearly. Right, I will actually die if I'm not careful here. I'm out the zone by a long mile, a long shot here, a long chalk. Right, hold on, sorry, I'm going to start talking nonsense and flapping. What's going on? Get to safety, Dave. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying here is, you know, it's just, I think it's very impressive as to, you know, what we're looking at here, because it does make the game a lot more immersive. So despite the fact we're not necessarily gaining like, you know, horizontal field of view as such, which is what you may think looking at this, we definitely are having a much more immersive game. Oh, look at that, he didn't come off his bike. What a great stunt. Okay, hurry up, get into the safe zone. There we go, we're kind of safe for a bit here. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to try and find another little kind of part of the map with, say, some buildings and things, and let's have one final look at some stuff. And I do appreciate this is just me riding around, just being mad. And, you know, by now, if this wasn't your bag, you'd have got off from the game anyway. This really is just for the nerdy types amongst us all, of which I'm definitely one of them. And hopefully it can kind of give people a bit of an idea as to what they maybe be able to do themselves with their S7s, not just with PUBG, because I'm fairly sure this is going to apply to a lot of stuff. In fact, on that point, if you have a look at my recent videos, I've done, let's say I've done Call of Duty Mobile at this resolution as well. But the thing with that, I was actually able to like play it properly with me gamepad as well. So, you know, have a look at that. You know, just go through my recent videos and you'll catch that there. Also as well, what's going to be really good about this is it's going to show us that with decks and with these types of settings, we're definitely competing and I think exceeding what the iPad Pro is capable of. Because in general, when you're in like standard modes on both the iPad, where am I going here? In general, when you're in like your standard modes on the iPad Pro and you're on the S7, the iPad Pro definitely has the edge over the S7. But what this has proven to me here is that the iPad is just more optimized for its own games, whereas the likes of the S7 is probably it's probably constrained a bit by some of the stuff in Android, because we can clearly see here that once we're in DeX mode, we're absolutely destroying what you'd be able to normally do under Android. So whilst, like, you know, the iPads are generally better as far as absolute quality, detail and rendering and stuff is concerned, that's because, you know, their apps and their games are definitely a lot more optimized for the OS. Whereas in this instance, we're seeing something that is actually better than what you'll see on an iPad, and I think that is just purely down to like Samsung's use of DeX and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to carry on labouring the point here. Let me get my headphones on. What I'm going to do, just going to do a little bit of a mooch around here, give us one final look at some of the details going on here again, just to see, you know, what differences you may or may not see in this compared to the way you would normally see this game. Okay, because for the best part here, all of these signs and everything, you know, these are all completely readable, and depending upon what devices I've been using to play the game on, quite a lot of this stuff is just a blurred mess. And then we've also got all this detail here in this building. Okay, in fact, do you know what, let me just see if I can do it. I'm going to try and speed up here because I want to see if I can try and get up to the top of this half finished building. Okay, finally, I made a pig's ear of that. That was really difficult. Okay, so I'm just going to give like a couple of little views out over here, just so we can have a little look at what's going on. And then what I'll do, I'll just kind of end the game off the back of this now. It's just, like I say, just some nerdy stuff here, just for those who are into this kind of thing. And yet you definitely wouldn't have got to the end of this video or to this point if you weren't into such things. Okay, so I think that might well be enough there. I've definitely given enough views around, you know, this map in order for us to gauge and to see as to what the benefits are of using the S7 in DeX mode and then pumping up the resolution and all that type of stuff. Okay, so how do I end this? I know, I'm gonna dive off the building. There's also someone down there who's probably gonna have me off if I don't waste myself off the building now. So let's just jump off here. Boom. Hold on. No, I didn't waste myself, so let me just give this person an opportunity to have me off. Hello. Oh, come on, I'm running around in my undies, it can't be that hard. There we go. Anyways, I'll leave it at that then. And the usual thing here, you know, if you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, all that nonsense. And just check some of my recent videos if you like this nerdy type stuff. Also, I've got another YouTube channel as well, which is called The Game Thing. You can get to that at www.thegamething.com. I'll be doing a lot more stuff on that channel, which will probably be more like proper combative stuff and with a few different games, different platforms and all the rest of it. However, when I come across certain devices like I have with the S7 and the iPad, I will definitely do videos like this on my main channel, despite the fact that my main channel is not a gaming channel. Anyways, enough of all this. I've talked far too much and I'm starving. I'm getting off of food. I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.